Okay, my good friends, today we're going to be doing part 2 of amazing discoveries at Mudfossil University. Now, everybody, or well, whoever has seen part 1 should understand that there was some discoveries made recently. The first one I went through was from Bill Weiss. He's a long-haul trucker, and he discovered this. I think it's a gigantic snake, and the vertebrae are sticking out, and I go through all that stuff. And then we went into Dan's workout, and then I'm going to go through that today, and of course Tyson and Scott Wiles out on the West Coast. And Greg Morrison is also working on discoveries down on the East Coast. So I'm going to try to highlight, just a couple little picks here and there of each one of them. And Dan has just come back with a ton of videos and information about the site in the Heartland. And we are going to start it off with this. Now, Dan went back and took a whole day and went out to this site where he found some structures. And one of them is a Sphinx. And this is that Sphinx. And this is what intrigues me about this Sphinx. I'm seeing some form of, they sure look like they were claws or fingernails or whatever. He has some closer shots of it. I just wanted to show you this one so that you could see the side structure. Now, anybody that's been paying any attention whatsoever understands that moss and lichen are attracted heavily to red blood. Now, where does red blood come? It comes from flesh. And primarily, where are there's certain places in the flesh that issue it more readily than other areas, let's put it that way. From your fingertips, from your wrists, from, the things that are close to the surface arterial networks. Now, and then there's also conditions that I see that are skin tissue, the way it lays, the way it wrinkles, the way it separates, and we are built in layers, 100%, absolutely, and I'm going to show you that right now so that we can continue on in certainty. Alright, every single thing I have found in the body is in layers, even the brain. You see that? Those are layers. I don't care how you look at it, those are layers. Absolutely 100%, that is layers. Now, did those occur because of the process of petrification? I don't think so. I think that is structurally embedded in you and me. Now, this is the synovial membrane, the sinus membrane, and this is the esophagus, and that is the tip of the tongue, the back part of the tongue. And after it was cleaned, you can see these are the sinus cavities, and that's the brain. And I have it in not microscopic shots, but you can see all of the fibers that run through the brain into the nasal cavities and all that business. It's now, and I'm sorry I can't find the lady that sent me this. I work with her a little bit, not a ton, and I lost the information from her, and I am so sorry. I wish I could, and I hope she will respond if she hears this, because I have a bunch of stuff here from her. Hold on. This was when it was complete, when she first found it in the water, just laying there just like that. And this was, you could see in the light, you see all these fibers? That's not wrinkles. Those are literally, those are connective wiring for your brain. I mean, it's unbelievable. What do we got here? There it is sitting. But they are layered. This is layered, absolutely layered, and every single part of your body is as well. So that's why I'm talking about. Don't just think when you see a split and a crack, oh, that's just two pieces put together. Not every single time. It might be. But it could be, well, in most cases, I'm going to tell you right now, in most cases, it is a natural body separation due to fascia and tissue membranes that isolate your connective tissues from your muscle tissues, from your organ tissues, from all of the different And they're all different types of membranes because they have different requirements. They're like you don't use plastic in where you have heat. You need something that will withstand the heat. You need something that will withstand the acidity. You need something that will withstand the alkalinity. And all of these different abrasive molecules that are in your body. These membranes are extremely specific, and in these specific membranes that coat these specific areas, they have specific bacteria that do specific job of creating specific types of mucus and specific enzymes that break down specific molecules to make specific products to do a specific job in you. All right, so if you got bad skin, doesn't mean that your heart's going to have a problem, but it might. If that membrane has an affinity or has an association to another type of membrane in the body, you may get cancer in your fingertips and your toe tips. I don't know. We don't understand these things yet. I'm sure that's not understood well at all, these membranes and what bacteria reside in all these different specific locations. Right now it's a shotgun approach. So anyway, I'll get off of that case. But anyway, we need a database of every single thing that's in your body, the bacteria, the enzymes, the transition metals, and now I'm starting to focus in on the rare earth metals, because I think those really are the key to health. They have so much molecular reactivity. It's incredible. So, and they're not just reactive in the magnetic sphere. Well, they are, but it's you are a magnetic creature. Everything that happens in your body is a result of magnetism. All right? Well, the body did this. Well, no, it didn't. Magnetism did that. Attractiveness, ionization, an extra electron, not an electron. Come to me, I need your electron. Here, I will give you an electron. That is the nature of chemistry. That's what's happened in your body. So it's all literally magnetic. The entire universe is strictly magnetism. Particles being attracted and pushed away. End of that story. Now I always look for something that really is going to give me some serious evidence. And, you know, I mean, I see a lot of markers here. And I see the blood like spots, but this is the one that got me right here. Boom. Now, if you look down here, there's a paw coming across, and he's going to focus in there. Now, let's see what it looks like. All right. Let's see if he gets back in there. Alright, whoops. That's the spot. And look at that. That looks to me like it's the tip of a claw is still somewhat attached there. You see that? You see that? That to me looks like it could be that biological evidence that I'm looking for, but I got to be honest with you, I'm having a hard time being positive, but boy, I'll tell you, just what he's looking at right there, he's right. There's something going on there. Now, he's done a lot of work on this, and I got a ton of stuff to go through. I just got this today, but I know that I was a little skeptical, and I'm still skeptical, obviously. I'm getting started, but that particular spot right there, that intrigues me. Alright, we're going to look at this, but I think I showed you this already, or I will. This is the underneath of a goose neck. That's the goose's head, and that's his neck and everything. And that's the type of skin that wrinkles. And guess what? What I'm looking at there, the average person will look at that and say, ooh, that doesn't look right. What is it, all this wrinkly looking stuff? Well, to me, I say that looks exactly correct. And I see a very fine fracture line underneath that normally would be very difficult to create that kind of a fracture. I see what I would say is extreme amounts of biology here. Now, I can't be certain, but let's look at what Dan has here, because it's fabulous work. Now, whatever this is on top of is obviously a different material. You'll see it. It's a bunch of little tiny holes in it. Now, whether it's bone or I don't really know what it is at this point. I haven't had enough time to really analyze it, but let's watch what this is, because I'm just sort of dangling this at you. We got a lot of work to do. We spent a whole day there, and I think we're probably going to be again there, because I guess there's a lot of stuff. So just watch and see what you think. All right, so he's going to be, well, everywhere this is green is that's biology. Now, this is also some form of biology. What it is, it might be dragon feathers. I don't know. I have no clue at this point. It's some kind of strange biology. Now, then you get the Sphinx on top of here. And I'm seeing some patterning on here that I see no problem with this. I see no problem with any of this. And this, whoops, right there, whoops, I got to find how to turn this over. I got to go back a second here. All right, now watch on the side as he comes down. Anywhere where you see this green in profusion, it means there was blood. At his elbows, running down the side, I would expect to see an enhancement of that process. And guess what we see? That, to me, is, you know, I can't prove it, but I'm going to tell you what. That is exactly what I would expect to see. Exactly. No difference could you do of that. Now, there is a strange looking face on here, but I have found that these faces do look very, very strange when they petrify like this. And, you know, there is whether somebody plastered that in there or that's blood, but I can tell you what, that is, again, what I would expect to see. This is like bloody investments all over. You see the blood coming out of here? Now, what this headdress thing is a different sort of material, it looks to me. I do see some blood coming out of it here and there. Got a lot of looking to do, but this is exactly what I would expect to see in these areas. And I think that might be skin. I'd like to have Dan take a real close look at that and get some, you know, really if we get some microscopic shots on this, we could almost be certain. Because I know what skin looks like. And it has this, it has that kind of look. I don't know what to say. I really don't. I just have no clue. But look at this. I mean, look at this. And I can see those are biology. That's biology. Now, whether it was biology and somebody carved it and it came to this, I can't. Oh shit! You couldn't see this. Well, I'm going to leave it the way it is because no, I got to see what we got. Wrinkly looking effect. You see that wrinkly looking effect? This is a goose's head. That's a goose head. Now, and I can show you the feather patterns on the top. I hope you can make those out. That's the feather patterns right on the top of his head. It's his eye and the beak and all that stuff. Now, he was laying flat on this side of his head, so there's no, oops, there's no definition there. Now, he died laying like this, and the neck curved over, and there is, if you know how to look, you can see the throat and the bone for the top of his head that is way straight up at the very top of there. That's what makes his head be able to move up and down like that. But that's a goose head. Now, where was that found? It was found in Triassic rock. And you say, Roger, what does Triassic rock mean? Well, Triassic rock means what you're looking at right there. It means this. And you say, well, what is that? And I say, well, that is a black cap with gray clay underneath of it, and then underneath the bottom is red bed. That's the Triassic. Black cap, gray clay, red bed. Well, guess what we have here, my good friends? Let's just see about this. Here's our black cap in all of its blackness. there is our gray clay in all of its grayness. And that is the red bed in all of its redness. Now, why is this gray clay shaped like a person's footprint? And why does it have all these little suck-ups on here, which means when that foot went into that wet clay, it came up and made these suck-ups. I've looked at them very carefully. I've done the same thing in my own specimens. All right, but that is a foot, and I'll hold that up and let you see it. I put my own foot in there. It fits absolutely flawless. Now, so where are we now? We are in the gray clay and then the red bed. Well, why is the red bed where the gray clay is? Because guess what? The red bed was wet. The gray clay was in a leathery state of wetness. And then the black cap came on top. Here's that footprint. You see that? Here's the gray clay. I mean the red bed. It is, the gray clay was pushed through that wet red bed because they were both wet at the same time. And then the black cap came down very quickly because all of these suck-ups are here. You see this? You see, oops. You see those little squiggly looking pattern things? That's when you put your foot into something wet and lift it up. That is a pattern of a foot. There's absolutely no question about it. That, and I'll hold it over in this direction too. It's a footprint. That's a footprint. Case closed. Now, that footprint went through that red bed, and it was gray clay. They say this Triassic event was 200 million years ago. Well, maybe it was. They also say, I think it ran for like 50 million years, something like that. Well, I say that happened in a weekend. I mean, they were all wet at the same time. You figure it out. Okay, so they say the Triassic. I mean, this is what you're going to learn if you go to Yale or something and pay them to teach you about the Triassic. They're going to tell you that it was a geological period, spans 50.6 million years, from the end of the Permian period, which is 251.9 million years ago, 0.9 million years ago, to the beginning of the Jurassic, which was 201.3 million years ago. I mean, where do they come up with these numbers? Where are they coming up with these numbers? This is insanity. The Triassic is the first and shortest period. Yeah, it's the shortest, I'll tell you that, of the Mesozoic era. Both the start and end are on the weekend of the 25th. I'm sorry. I can't help myself. I'm going to leave that in. I shouldn't, but I'm going to. It's absolute nonsense what they're teaching. Total nonsense. And they will not respond to reality. How do you deal with that? All right, now I know it's running a little long, so I'm going to leave it at this. Well, I'm just going to do a quick thing and show you what Tyson and Scott Wiles came up with out on the West Coast. Absolutely blow your freaking mind right out of your head. And of course, I still got to do the dragon feathers and you know, the scales and these are dragon feathers. That's a dragon feather. Greg has gone down. He located these off of Google Earth, went down and harvested some. And I'm going to do the video on that, and we're going to go over all this kind of stuff because, you know, I know these. I had a whole batch of people come in from Woodward TV. Nice guy. Excellent presentations. I would love to collaborate and have him show this stuff in the way that it should be shown. I'm just showing it. I'm throwing it out against the wall and see, you know, people that understand it, they understand it. But I'm finding that it's a very hard wall to get things to stick to. You know, it's a bone. There's no question it's a bone. You know, but I showed this to Yale. They said, no, it's not a bone. I said, well, why is that not a bone, Professor Briggs? He said, well, it's not a bone. It's never had any organic things going on there at all. So all I can do is come to you people and say, what they're saying is not right. You know it's not right. I know it's not right. I have DNA tests and evidence, and anatomist Jesse Garant, who the best CAT scan equipment in the world. Did 7 CAT scans for me, and he knows it's right too, and they did it for no charge because they know that this is specific, true science. And those things are not cheap, and that equipment is expensive as hell. And these guys don't work for free, and Jesse did this in the interest of science as a scientist. And you don't do those kind of things when you're inside of that academic bubble because they won't allow you to do this. I'm not just telling you the facts, absolute fact. You can take it any way you want. That's my opinion, and I take my opinion on this as a fact. Okay, I'm just going to show you a couple quick things with Scott and with Tyson out on the West Coast. And we're going to be doing the dragon feathers. I swear. Greg, I promise, buddy. He went down and got them, and I want to show this, but every time I get ready to do it, I got so many other things that crack up there. That is a dragon scale feather. I don't know what else to say. And that's dragon scale skin. And it's like effervescent. It's shiny looking as hell. And there is see all those layers? That's not unusual. Every bit of skin is that kind of thickness of layers. Anyway, we're going to go through all this with the people from Woodward TV that came in, because I think like 5,000 people came in the last week or so, subbed in, and I want them to, there's new people that haven't seen this stuff before. I'm sure a lot of them, because that many people don't just show up at my doorstep. But they need to understand, this is reality, and every one of them, so far as I can tell, has been receptive to the truth that they see here. They don't come in as dismissers, and because Woodward is that guy knows what he's talking about, and the presentation absolutely fabulous. I've been subscribed to him for a long time, and they're all good. And he doesn't go claiming any insane stuff. He's talking about what we see, what was written, and what do we derive from that? Is there anything to derive from it? So anyway, Woodward TV, thank you so much, my good friend, and I'm willing to talk with you and collaborate with you. Like I said, let's talk, brother, and get this baby born. All right, thank you, my friends. Here's something else Dan found out there, where all these things are being, there's a lot of carvings out there. Now, there's some form of biology here. This is all biological, I'm going to tell you that right now. And that, in other words, this is not like sedimentary layers of anything. This was at one time one gigantic creature, and somebody has carved things into it, and there may have been other creatures on top of the original gigantic creature, which is the case in most places. But these are the kind of things that intrigue me. I had another one here over here. Now, what is that all about? There's some chemistry that I would like to know what that chemistry is versus this chemistry. It's different. It does not want. It's a non-bloody area. There's no blood in this. The blood the moss would be growing on. It's not growing on. That is a different substance. Now, what is it? It's not. I almost would say that it is not biological, this piece, because there is some biology in there I can see as being invaded by lichen. So the lichen and the moss attack in different, like the very tiny blood vessels get the lichen, and the bigger, thicker flows get the moss. And I have one here I can show you. All right. This is that's a toe, and I'll show you it as a toe. That is where the red blood is seeping out, and this is where it's less seeping out and is the lichen. Now, this has been laying around in here for years, so it's not like you have to water that much. Now, that, believe it or not, is the guy's callus on his big toe. This is the black vein side. The vein side where the black blood hardens up it would come out here. You know, of course, this thing was much bigger when it was original. Now, that is the actual toenail. And back here is where the blood flows in. There's the artery, and this one is the vein. The veins plug up, and you could find it. It's over in here somewhere. But that's the arterial side, the red blood side. And that's why we got red. We got the moss and the lichen over here. And that's a toe. That's the bottom of the toe. They get these, you see these little sparkly things? I don't know if you can see that good or not. Let's see if I can get it closer. That's where, and again, everything's in layers. Everything is layers. So don't tell me, oh, it's not layers. They're all in layers. You see that? It's all in layers. See, there's layers. Layer, 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 layer. Now, you see all that shiny looking stuff? I don't know if you can see. Well, here's another toe. That's a toe too. There's a toe. And that one there has given up everything almost to where it's got this tiny little piece of bone left. And everything has turned into metal. There's some blood left there. And that's what's left of that toe. And this one here, see the black blood side? Same as this one here, black. That's where the black blood side was. This was where the red blood side ran out, and this was also, I believe, where the callus was on this guy's toe. And that's the back end. Carbon never stops moving. Never stops moving. You pick up a rock, and it's just still spitting out carbon into the air. I mean, it just does it. They never stop, and they continue to degrade until they get down to like this, to these kind of conditions where there's nothing left. Nothing at all. Now, that didn't just happen in 10 minutes like this. This didn't happen. This was a process of decomposition from something that was bloody and red, like that one here in the back. This one here. You see how all the layers on that one? That's just how they were built. And that has, well, I'm not going to go through it all. There's blood on this one. Anyway, I'm going to sort of wrap this up, and we'll go over Tyson's stuff and Scott's stuff, and then the next video we'll do some of the dragon scales, and you know, of course, I still have the cyborg from I know it's insanity, but I still have that from Tish Egerton. She found absolutely unbelievable cyborg stuff, and there's no question. I'm telling you, I looked at that carefully, and of course then you got Kim. She has the Naga head, and that I looked at very carefully. No question whatsoever, it was alive. And when you find rocks like this, let me just show you something. You see this? You see these colors? How they split like that? Looks like somebody scraped it or a slug ran across it. That's blood. When blood runs out, there's the vein and artery, or you know, it's a tube of little blood vessels there, and there's like a layer of skin or fascia almost everywhere there's a layer of skin or fascia, and then as it dried and split from the water logging, it does this. And that's where blood was. And here it is. This is a foot. This is a foot. You see the same stuff. You see this? That's the foot. Now, if you had your foot and you look, you've got the blood runs in the same place. You see? The blood runs right there on you. And then this here was where the bone broke, and you got a little bit of reddish looking blood. And the reason this is flat, broken off, that's where the fibia attaches to the tibia. That one just falls right off. This was the big one. It held right in here. And then you end up with this flat piece fell right off. But you could see the heel bone was in there. I don't know if you can see it. They mix right in. The colors mix right in. The bone mixes right in. Might show up if I sprayed a little water on there. But anyway, it's a foot, trust me. I looked at it carefully. And Tish has a ton of these. And I do too. Everybody's got them. They're all over the world. And there's something else and they're no toes. Because the toe, this is not like a shoe. This is the actual foot of these creatures. And it encases the toes. They're in there, but they're just encased in flesh. So let's look at Tyson's stuff and Scott's stuff, and then we'll wrap this one up. Okay, I am going to let Tyson talk here. He went out with Scott, and Tyson has this channel now. It's called Tyson's Mudfossil Adventures. He's just getting started. He's got some subscribers coming in, and it'd be a good idea to come up here and take a look at his stuff. He's doing another great video, and I've been working with him, and he's very interested, and he's quite knowledgeable. So everybody's learning. We're all learning together. So. I'm going to let him go for a few minutes here, and then maybe cut to a couple places. And you should go up and watch and subscribe and see his stuff, because I'm going to try to push this off onto other people. I just, I love doing it, but I'm really getting burnt out, to be perfectly honest. As I told Tyson, I'm overwhelmed. That's a fact. My hand's starting to get real sore just from working the thumb wheel. I'm not kidding you. It's really bothering me. All right, so here goes. He does cannabis stuff too. He makes cannabis cures.
Hi, it's Tyson here with Tyson's Mudfossil Adventures. I'm here with Scott Wild today. We're hooking up here on the coast. Scott's from the South Carolina, area, and he found this tendon ecdysis here on the Oregon coast that Roger's actually done a video on called Skinner Roads in Oregon. I've been wanting to get up here and do some video. All we've had lately is pictures. So I'm here with Scott Wiles today. And Scott's another fellow mud fossil researcher, and he's been finding lots of stuff all over the country as he's been traveling. And I've come out today to meet with Scott, and we're hooking up, and we're going to put our heads together and try to figure out some stuff here. So I'm going to look around here on the beach, here at Ona Beach up in Oregon. And right behind me here is that tendon ecdysis that Scott's found. So I'm going to do a video on this and upload it of Scott's stuff that he's found here, so we'll have some video and not just pictures. So I'm going to grab the camera and take a look around this ecdysis, and we'll get going here.
All right, now let me just see if I can catch this at a certain spot. Now what he's got there, that is a tendon ecdysis.
All right, this is that tendon ecdysis that Roger has done videos about. And
I don't want to steal all the thunder here. You guys should come up and see it. But this is how these things, this is the abrupt transitions I'm talking about. This is the glue. This is glue. This is it's either bone or flesh or it's where the tendon is implanted. Going out that way was muscle. And you're going to see on the whole beach there's all kinds of structures that are from the tendon emplacements. And they are gigantic. And that is glue. It's absolutely glue. It's this thick. And if you look at Finnegal's Cave in Ireland, I believe it is, you're going to see that it has a whole bunch of tendon fibrils, those little hex fibrils sticking up, and then the glue at the top, the muscle above is gone. Now, let's let Tyson go on here.
And I wanted to get some close-ups of it.
He's got some really good stuff. That's Scott's dog.
And this is that transition.
See the color
that he's talking about. I'm standing on top of what would be the skin.
He's right. Yeah. Now look down the beach. All of this is becoming eroded away. This was all of the surface of this creature. That thing may be stuck up to an arm or I don't know what. But it was an attachment from whatever this was. And this is very difficult to understand what it is now. But you can see this is fleshy, skin area mostly. When you see this vibrant green, and here you see some vibrant green here, that means it's very, very vital red flesh. Now, these little stony looking
good video of this. I've been wanting to get up here for quite a while.
Look at that, that's amazing.
He's got some incredible stuff going on. This is part of that stuff that I have down there in Devil's Churn also. This is all one.
You see this? Those are going to end up going into like little connective tissue, what do you call it? It's the fascia, the stuff you get in your steak when you cut it, and you got to get it out of the way. That's what's going to grow there, and then the muscle will be in between those layers of connective tissue. All right, so this is what he's got, and then you go down here a little further. Look at this, go straight down the beach. They run in rows, and these are the balls, and they face up to the cliff. So that was the original height of the guy, is what I'm thinking. Now, you know, we're going to do some more on this probably later. But there's just a ton of stuff here, and you see some of these shots, absolutely fabulous. He does a real good job. Now, he was talking about going over the devil's churn. You see that's the glue. These are the little tendon nubbins, and they're going to detach and go out to muscles. See it? And this is just eroding away. Now, that could likely was bone, because some of this will not be eroded away. Like, see this? That is some kind of fleshy, meaty cover over, and it started to erode away.
It is.
Watch it, see?
I was just right over there.
See the tendon
Now
marks?
we're coming into the rest of this biological creature. All these bumps out here.
See all the balls?
Interstitial.
That's right, interstitial. These are correct. Now, what they just, not even long ago, they decided, okay, we understand interstitial, which is a layer of connective tissue balls like this with little straps running between them that sits inside the clay layer of your skin so they can all move around, and then these balls will all come back. Well, the balls will stay where they are. The straps will come back with the flesh. That's what interstitium is. It's on top of your organs, it's in your skin, it's part of your membranes. Anyway, he's got some fabulous stuff here, and it goes on, and he's coming out and finding some things and looking at some great stuff. So you should come up here and look. You see the tendon balls all over the place. It's not, and now Scott said, I think last year this was not visible. So these things are coming to surface now. Whether they're coming to the surface now or whether we're just starting to notice them, I think we're just starting to notice them. But maybe they're just coming to the surface, because they are definitely coming to the surface. Everywhere, you can't not look and find it. You know, if you really open your eyes, you shall see. I figure I'll just throw this in. This is a vein and an artery. The artery has all of these little blood vessels coming out to service the tissue here that you see is eroding away and turning all of this red. That is the connective tissue, muscle, and the erosion of it. Now, that's from NASA. All right, and guess what else is up there? This. This is on Mars too. Now those are the balls like Tyson was showing, and these are the connective straps that erode everywhere else on Earth, but they have not been abraded away. This has been gently abraded. The balls are much stronger than the straps. There is an area here where the skin has been pulled apart, and you can see that's what comes back. You understand? That's the way the skin works. It can pull apart and it will come back. These balls will find their way back. That's skin. Now that's on Mars. It's called the Mars-Morris Code. Alright? The universe is 100% biological. 100% as far as I can determine. Alright? God bless you all.